Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how to mess around with the contrast and saturation using the post-processing volume. So I'm going to be using my friend scene for this, and I wanted to mention this in the last video but I forgot, because with my friend's the TV show scene, the environment I made, and I'm going to use this scene because it'd be easier to understand what the post-processing volume is doing, and you can really see sort of contrast between what I'm going to be showing you. So looking into post-processing, so in the last video I showed you how to mess around with a tin. So today I'm going to show you how to mess around with saturation and contrast. So if you don't know how to get the post-processing volume in, this right post, you can drag it in. And I showed this in the last video, you can just scale it up, and basically where the box is showing, so how big the box is how much it's going to affect of the scene, and we want it to affect the whole scene, so make it huge, so it covers the entire scene. I already have one, so I'm going to delete the one I just made and go to the one that I already have that exists. So if I just write in post up here, I can find it and click in there. So I'm going to look into contrast and saturation now. So there's a few settings that can control contrast and saturation. There's color grading, and as you can see I got mine on 0.9 and then 1.2 to make the contrast a bit stronger and to make it slightly less in saturation. If I put it back to, actually if I just turn off saturation, it should put it all back to 1. Yep, I felt that was too much color, so as you can see it's very wash it out, gets a bit more grey. But if, for example, if we turn it to 0 on all three, it's obviously going to make it black and white. If we turn it to the max, which I believe is 2 on all of them, it's going to make it look like The Simpsons. Actually, that is kind of a cool effect. And you can mess around with this as much as you want, and it represents the RGB channels. So if you turn like that down, it's just going to keep your green and blues, I believe, or something like that. It's going to keep just your certain colors. Turn that one down, it's just going to keep like your reds, and you turn that one down, it's just going to make it black and white. So preferably you tend to want to keep them all the same number and then mess around with them. So I have it like 0.5, it can be really grayed out, for example. But yeah, that's one way of messing with your saturation. Again, with the contrast, you can turn this to 0 on all of them, and obviously there's going to be no contrast, so it's going to be grayed out. 2 on all of them, so it's going to be really strong in contrast, and this could be really good for some cinematic scenes where you want the blacks to be really strong. I had this at 1.2 though, so yep, you can again, RGB channels, it sort of has a weird effect, but I tend to keep mine all the same numbers just because I want to have an overall contrast. Oh, I did not write that right. 1.2, 1.2, 1.2. I mean, that's a cool effect still, if you want it to contrast certain colors. So now there's another way to mess around with contrast and saturation, and it's in film. So we come into film, you've got contrast in here, and you've got saturation right here. There you go. So this is just one number, so it doesn't control the RGB values. You can just turn this all the way up. Again, Simpsons looking, really strong values. You can turn it all the way down, have grey, or you can go in between obviously and mess around with how much colour you actually want in your scene. So I prefer the film edit because going through the colour gradient is just too much, too specific. I just like changing one value, it's just easier. And again with contrast, you can turn this all the way down and it won't have any contrast. You can turn it all the way up and it have really strong contrast, and you can even go between both of them and have it so it's using colour grading and your film to make a huge contrast at the moment anyway. Alright, so this was just looking at contrast. I hope this helps anyone who just didn't know how to use contrast. Can't remember what I said that as. There you go. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this helped, and bye bye.